Welcome back to the not televised revolution, starting in hopefully about 3 seconds. There we go. We're continuing our coverage of Venezuela because it's incredibly complicated and it's incredibly hard to find accurate news about it. So, from my point of view, and I hope we get more discussion on it, Democracy Now! Has been my most trusted source. So let's check it out for 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'd like to talk about the U.S. media coverage of the crisis in Venezuela over the last several months. In a piece published Tuesday, the media watchdog Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, known as FAIR, found the mainstream corporate media here in the United States did not publish even one opinion piece opposing regime change in Venezuela. The FAIR piece is headlined, 0% of elite commentators oppose regime change in Venezuela. One example FAIR cited is a New York Times opinion piece published last month headlined, What My Fellow Liberals Don't Get About Venezuela. The video features Venezuelan-American comedian and writer Joanna Hausmann. Let's go to a clip.
Juan Guaido is not an American right-wing puppet leading an illegitimate coup, but a social democrat appointed by the National Assembly, the only remaining democratically elected institution left in Venezuela. Guaido's job is to ensure free and fair elections because, newsflash, the last election was not free or fair.
The New York
I think research needs to be done on that. Even though she's hypnotically beautiful, she can't just throw claims out there like that. The last election was not free and fair. The opposition party worked together to boycott those elections. Even though she's really hot.
Times did not point out that Joanna's father, Ricardo Hausmann, is a close ally of opposition leader Juan Guaido and was appointed by Guaido to serve as Venezuela's representative to the Inter-American Development Bank. Edgardo Lander, could you talk about the media coverage and what that means?
Well, it's obvious that the corporate media has been following U.S. policy, and this isn't new. I mean, it happened during the Iraq War, it's happened in Libya, it's happened in all over the place. The papers like the New York Times turn to be critical after the facts. Maybe 10 years from now, they'll be critical of their position in relation to what's happening in Venezuela. But I also think that it's important to recognize that the problems in Venezuela are not black and white. It's not an issue of the democratic government presented by Maduro and some fascist opposition.
I have an issue. And since I have the mouse, I have the power to say, I have an issue with, you're a boring dude. Dude, say something, please. I need your help. I'm trying to make an interesting video.
The problems are much more complicated, and I think that one has to take into account that the serious economic and humanitarian crisis in Venezuela is mainly due to the incapacity and corruption of the Maduro government. It's true that over the last 2 years, U.S. sanctions has become a really critical, important issue. The fact that there's a financial blockade, the fact that Venezuela has been highly dependent on oil exports and imports from the United States has that, at this moment, blockaded. The fact that the Venezuela has no access to foreign credit, the fact that the central bank has been prohibited in dealing with dollars. And there's a whole range of sanctions that is having a huge impact on the Venezuelan economy.
I believe it's safe to say he won back my friendship with a landslide. Wow. Yay. It took them a second to ramp it up. I have to do the same thing. I love this guy, this Venezuelan sociologist, dude. Person that gives a flying fuck. I know how to say these words, I'm just having fun.
But this has been happening mainly during the Trump administration, and this is from August 2017. But the economic crisis in Venezuela started way before that. The decay of the Venezuelan GDP, the decay of public services, the lowering of living standards, the limited access to what used to be the main achievements of the Venezuelan process during the first decade are all things that were happening before the sanctions. So we have a combination of a very incompetent government, an extremely corrupt government, an increasingly authoritarian government.
Alright, so there's always a huge mix of problems when you try to save your society from the rest of the world. And corruption is always one of them. And man, that triggered me. I wanna roll back for a minute. You don't get to say it, so we're gonna do it. Let's see.
Incompetent government, an extremely corrupt government, an increasingly authoritarian government on one side, and on the other side we have this opposition backed by the United States with this constant threat of intervention.
Alright. I'm gonna try to run it like this. Either way, that guy made me angry to the core because capitalism is what's keeping the world down in many regards, and Venezuela is a perfect example and a great place for me to start talking, for me to launch my show. So I think, even though I wish I started sooner, I think I got a good start. Man. Even though it hurts. Even though it hurts. Even though it hurts. It does.
So we need to find a solution in which there is a possibility for the Venezuelan people to have a say and decide what they want for their country in a non-violent way.
What do you guys think? I want comments on this video because are we making change through violence or non-violence? Want all the comments. Thank you for watching the not televised revolution. I love you all very, very much. Very much. Where are you, camera? Are you there? Alright. I love you all very, very much. Oh, yeah. Well, you all have very, very sexy bodies. I don't need to edit myself, and neither do you. I already read the comment section from the future. Alright, I seriously do. Hope you guys keep watching, because I'll get better. I'll get better every week. I'm going to keep making more content. Again, thanks for watching.